Oh hi, I have been posed this question from a couple of students. Can you I mean, what we need to do is it's one of the identities, cos of x over 1 minus sine x add 1 minus sine x over cos x need to be proved equal to 2 sec x. If you want to have a go, you can pause the video now and you can try, and then you can check your work with mine later, right? Okay, what do I do? The first thing I can see is, which I should always look at, is I've got more information on left hand side. So I'm going to make a start from left hand side. Okay, there should be no reason why you should make a start from right hand side when you've got only 2 sec x there. Right. What I do here is I can see when I look at this fraction, when I look at left hand side, that part and that part, what I can see is I've got different denominators. The denominator here is different to that. Now what I can do is I can try making same denominators, and what's the rule to make denominators equal is multiply first fraction by second denominator, which means I times that by cos of x times that by cos of x, right? So what do I do then? I write down as cos of x times cos of x over cos of x times, I will write that down inside the bracket, 1 minus sine x, right? And add. So what do I do with that? I multiply second fraction by the first denominator. So I times 1 minus sine of x by 1 minus sine of x. So that's going to be a square, won't it? Right? And I then put down the common denominator as cos x times that. So the denominator is going to become common now. So I can somehow, because denominators are same, I can put it down as a single fraction. And at the same time I'm going to try simplifying that as well. So what I'm doing is cos x times cos x makes cos squared x. So I write it down as cos squared x. Okay, and in the denominator I put down cos x multiplied by 1 minus sine of x. Single denominator I've made because I've got two similar denominators, so it's better to write it down as a single fraction, right? Now plus, I'm going to expand this now. So it's a simple expansion of brackets. 1 times 1, 1 times minus sine of x times 1, and minus sine of x multiplied by minus sine of x. So what do I get when I times them? I get 1 minus sine times minus sine is plus sine squared x, and minus sine of x add minus sine of x is minus 2 sine of x. Right, I can see an identity here which is sine squared x plus cos squared x, and we know that when we put them together, sine squared x and cos squared x in any order, that makes 1. So I've got 1 here, so I put that down as 1. Then I get 1 from there as well, so 1 minus 2 sine of x over cos of x 1 minus sine of x. Right, so what I do is now at the top I've got 2, 1 add 1 is 2 minus 2 sine of x. So I'm collecting terms here, and cos of x 1 minus sine of x. Now I can see from the top that I've got 2 here and 2 here, so I can factorize that. So if I factorize it, I get 1 minus sine of x. Okay, and in denominator I've got cos of x and 1 minus sine of x, right? So 1 minus sine of x. Now what I can see now is this part same as this part, so I will cancel them out, okay, which will leave me with what does it leave with? It leaves me with 2 over cos of x, and we know that, you know, cos 1 over cos of x is actually a reciprocal of sec x, so that can be taken up as 2 sec x. Okay, that is my right hand side. That's what I need to prove. So you can look back and check, you know, I mean, all I have done is I've tried to make denominators equal, so then I collected I multiplied numerators with the opposite denominator and simplified it. Okay, now there's another question, right. If you look at this question, I need to prove cos of x over 1 plus cot x equal to sin x 1 plus tan x. Now in this case you can actually make a start from any side. You can start from this side or you can start from this side. Let's make a start from left hand side. Okay, so left hand side, now cos of x over 1 plus cot of x. Now there's nothing I can do at the moment with cos of x, so I have to write it down as cos of x. Just got to check, you know, what my denominators give me, and 1 plus, now cot x is, we know that tan is sine over cos, so tan x is sine x over cos x. We know that. So cot x is inverse of that, which is cos x over sine x, right? So 1 plus cos x over sine x. Now I'm going to do slightly complicated maths here in denominator. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try making denominators equal. Now denominators in denominator, okay, so I've got 1 here, which means it's 1 over 1, okay, and I need to make sine here because I want to make denominator equal, right? Now to make sine here I got to times both of them by sine, okay, so which means my fraction is going to be sine of x. No, I should write the top bit. What I would do is let me get rid of this. Okay, what I'm doing is I write down as cos of x, which is the numerator, and then in denominator I'm writing sin x over sin x, because I can multiply and divide by same number. It's a fractions property. Cos x over sin x, right? So because my denominators are equal, so I can write it, I mean denominator in denominator are equal, okay, so I can write it down as a single denominator. So what I would do is I will write it down as sine of x plus cos of x over sine of x. Now that means cos is divided by that, okay, all of that. Cos can be divided by all of that. Now when I change that into a different fraction, I mean when I need to change it into times, that means that part will be multiplied to that, okay, which means that part can actually be replaced with this one, right? So if I replace sine and cos together, I can bring sine at the top and cos at the bottom, okay. You can do that by dividing, okay, so I get sine x, and in denominator I've got sine x plus cos x over cos x. All I have done is I've replaced that cos x with sine x, right? So what do I do now is I've got sine x at the top. I need to do reverse of what I have been doing here, so I need to split these fractions up. So I need to divide sine of x by cos of x and cos of x by cos of x. Now sine of x divided by cos of x gives me tan x, and cos x divided by cos x gives me 1, right? So that is, I think, yeah, that's what we need to prove, okay. Or you can just change the order of sin x plus 1 into 1 plus tan of x. So that basically is your identity, and that is your right hand side. Okay, thanks for watching.